Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. Raul sat in his car, heart pounding. He'd been parked outside the Blockbuster for nearly 20 minutes, gathering the courage to step out. His palms were sweaty against the steering wheel, and he kept glancing at his reflection in the rearview mirror, scrutinizing every detail. This was only the second time he'd ventured out as Savannah, and the nerves were just as intense as the first. He'd driven 45 minutes to this particular store, far enough from home that he was unlikely to run into anyone he knew. Still, the fear of being recognized or called out gnawed at him. Raul took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing thoughts. He'd spent hours planning this outfit, aiming for a look that was feminine, but not too flashy. A pastel pink baby tee hugged his torso, carefully padded to create the illusion of curves. Baggy jeans hung low on his hips, a concession to the current fashion that also helped disguise his masculine frame. A backwards baseball cap completed the ensemble, its brim hiding his strong jawline. "You can do this," he murmured to himself, voice pitched higher than usual. He'd been practicing his feminine voice for weeks, but it still felt strange on his tongue. "You're Savannah now? Beautiful, confident Savannah." With one final deep breath, Raul, "No, Savannah!" pushed open the car door and stepped out into the fading daylight. She walked toward the store entrance, hyper-aware of every movement. Had she remembered to soften her stride? Was her posture right? She fought the urge to hunch her shoulders, trying to project an air of casual confidence she didn't feel. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whoosh, and Savannah stepped into the fluorescent-lit world of Blockbuster video. The familiar smell of popcorn and plastic DVD cases hit her nostrils, momentarily grounding her. She'd been here countless times before, but never like this, never as herself. Savannah made her way down the aisles, pretending to browse while stealing glances at the other customers. No one seemed to be paying her any particular attention, which was both a relief and slightly disappointing. Part of her had hoped for some validation, some sign that she was successfully passing as a woman. But maybe no reaction was the best reaction of all. As she rounded the corner into the family section, a voice called out, "Can I help you find anything?" Savannah froze, her heart leaping into her throat. She turned slowly to see a Blockbuster employee approaching, his blue polo shirt neat and name tag reading Mike. This was it, the moment of truth. Could she pull this off? Yeah, Savannah replied, wincing internally at how high and squeaky her voice sounded. She cleared her throat and tried again. "I'm looking for a Barbie movie. It's for my niece." Mike smiled, seemingly unfazed by Savannah's appearance or nervous demeanor. "Sure thing. We've got a whole section of Barbie films over here. Any particular one in mind?" Savannah shook her head, following Mike as he led her to a shelf lined with pink DVD cases. "I'm not sure. What would you recommend for a 6-year-old? As Mike began detailing the merits of various Barbie adventures, Savannah felt herself start to relax. He was treating her just like any other customer, no suspicion or judgment in his eyes. Maybe she was pulling this off after all. "I think I'll go with this one," Savannah said, plucking a case from the shelf. "Barbie as Rapunzel." "That sounds fun, right?" Mike nodded approvingly. "Good choice. That one's pretty popular. Anything else I can help you with today?" Savannah hesitated, realizing she didn't want this interaction to end. It felt so normal, so validating. "Actually, yeah. Do you have any good action movies? Something with, car chases and explosions?" Mike's eyebrows rose slightly, but he grinned. "A fan of both Barbie and blow-em-ups, huh? I can respect that. Come on, I'll show you our new releases." As they walked to another section of the store, Mike struck up a conversation. "So you said the Barbie movie was for your niece? You babysit a lot?" Savannah nodded, grateful for the chance to flesh out her backstory. "Yeah, my sister works late sometimes, so I help out when I can. It's fun, you know? Kids say the craziest things." Mike laughed. "Tell me about it. I've got a little brother, and half the time I have no idea what he's talking about. But hey, at least Barbie movies are better than some of that other kids' stuff. If I have to hear the Pokemon theme song one more time, I might lose it." Savannah found herself giggling, the sound surprisingly natural. "Oh, God, I know exactly what you mean. It gets stuck in your head for days." They reached the action section, and Mike began pointing out various titles. Savannah only half listened, too caught up in the surreal normalcy of the moment. Here she was, chatting and joking with a stranger who saw her as nothing more than a young woman looking for movies. It was exhilarating. After selecting an action flick to go with the Barbie movie, Savannah made her way to the checkout counter. Her palms were sweaty again as she handed over her membership card, praying the cashier wouldn't notice the masculine name or question the discrepancy. But the transaction went smoothly, the bored-looking teenager behind the counter barely glancing at the card before swiping it. "Have a nice day," the cashier droned, handing over the DVDs in a plastic bag. Savannah managed a squeaky thanks before hurrying out of the store, her heart pounding with a mixture of relief and triumph. She'd done it. She'd successfully navigated an entire social interaction as Savannah, and no one had questioned her or given her strange looks. It felt like a major victory. As she approached her car, however, panic suddenly gripped her. Where were her keys? She patted her pockets frantically, feeling nothing but smooth denim. Oh God, had she locked them in the car? Her mind raced with horrible scenarios, having to call for help, trying to explain her appearance to a locksmith or worse, the police. Just as she was on the verge of tears, Savannah's fingers brushed against something in her back pocket. She pulled out her keys with a shaky laugh, realizing she'd forgotten she'd put them there instead of her usual front pocket. Crisis averted. Sliding into the driver's seat, Savannah let out a long, relieved sigh. She'd done it. Her second outing as her true self had been a complete success. As she started the engine and pulled out of the parking lot, her mind was already racing with possibilities for future adventures. Maybe next time she'd try a restaurant or a shopping mall. And wouldn't it be amazing to have someone to share these experiences with? Someone who understood, who could offer support and companionship on these nerve-wracking but thrilling excursions. The thought stayed with Savannah as she drove home, the setting sun painting the sky in shades of pink and orange that seemed to mirror her own vibrant emotions. She felt alive, validated, and more herself than she ever had before. This was just the beginning, she realized. There was a whole world out there waiting for Savannah to explore it. As she merged onto the highway, Savannah allowed herself to daydream about future outings. Maybe she could find an LGBT-friendly cafe in the city, a safe space to meet others like her. Or perhaps she could work up the courage to go clothes shopping as Savannah, to try on dresses and skirts in a fitting room without fear of judgment. The possibilities seemed endless, and for once the future looked bright and full of promise. Savannah hummed along to the radio, her earlier anxiety replaced by a bubbling excitement. She was already mentally planning her next outfit, thinking about how to refine her look and mannerisms. Lost in thought, Savannah almost missed her exit. She swerved at the last second, earning an angry honk from the car behind her. The sound jolted her back to reality, reminding her that she wasn't home free yet. She still had to change back into Raul before returning to her apartment. Pulling into a deserted rest stop, Savannah parked in a shadowy corner and began the transformation back to Raul. Off came the baseball cap, revealing short-cropped hair that had been carefully tucked away. The pink tee was replaced with a baggy sweatshirt, hiding any hint of curves. Savannah, now Raul again, used a wet wipe to remove the subtle makeup he'd applied earlier. As he looked in the rearview mirror, Raul felt a pang of loss. Savannah's confident smile was gone, replaced by his own uncertain expression. But the memory of the evening's success lingered, a warm glow in his chest that couldn't be extinguished. Raul finished the drive home in contemplative silence, his mind buzzing with plans and possibilities. As he climbed the stairs to his third-floor apartment, he found himself already looking forward to Savannah's next outing. Maybe next time, he thought, she'd be brave enough to strike up a conversation with another customer, to make a connection, however brief. Inside his apartment, Raul carefully hid away Savannah's clothes and accessories in the back of his closet. But as he got ready for bed, he couldn't resist slipping on the pink tee again, reveling in the soft fabric against his skin. He fell asleep with a smile on his face, dreaming of a future where Savannah could exist freely, without fear or hesitation. The next morning, Raul woke to the harsh beeping of his alarm clock. For a moment, he lay in bed, disoriented, the events of the previous evening feeling like a distant dream. But as he became more alert, the memories came flooding back, bringing with them a renewed sense of excitement and possibility. As he went through his morning routine, shower, shave, breakfast, Raul found his thoughts continually drifting back to his experience at Blockbuster. He replayed every interaction, analyzing his performance as Savannah. Had his voice been convincing enough? Did his body language read as feminine? He made mental notes of areas to improve, determined to refine his presentation for next time. At work, Raul found it difficult to concentrate. He was a software developer, and normally he could lose himself for hours in lines of code. But today, his mind kept wandering. He caught himself absent-mindedly doodling sketches of outfits in the margins of his notepad during a team meeting, earning a few curious glances from his colleagues. "You okay, man?" his cubicle neighbor, Tim, asked during their lunch break. "You seem kind of out of it today." Raul forced a laugh, trying to appear nonchalant. "Yeah, just didn't sleep great last night. You know how it is." Tim nodded sympathetically, launching into a story about his own recent bout of insomnia. Raul listened with half an ear, grateful for the cover but guilty about the deception. Part of him longed to open up, to share the exhilarating truth of his double life, but fear held him back. What if Tim reacted badly? What if word got around the office? Raul wasn't ready for that level of exposure, not yet. As the workday dragged on, Raul found himself increasingly eager to get home. He had plans to scour online forums for advice on voice training and makeup techniques. Maybe he'd even work up the courage to post about his own experiences, to connect with others who might understand what he was going through. Finally, 5 o'clock rolled around and Raul practically sprinted to his car. The commute home seemed to take forever, each red light an eternity. By the time he reached his apartment, he was buzzing with pent-up energy and excitement. Once inside, Raul headed straight for his closet. He pulled out Savannah's clothes, laying them reverently on the bed. The pink tee, the baggy jeans, the baseball cap, each item held a memory now, a connection to that thrilling evening at Blockbuster. Raul changed quickly, his movements practiced and efficient. He'd gotten better at applying makeup, though he still struggled with eyeliner. As he worked, he found himself talking aloud, practicing Savannah's higher-pitched voice. "Hi, I'm Savannah," he said to his reflection, trying different inflections. "Nice to meet you. Can you help me find—" "Thanks so much for your help." Once the transformation was complete, Savannah stood before the full-length mirror on the back of her bedroom door. She turned this way and that, scrutinizing her appearance from every angle. Not bad, she thought, but there was still room for improvement. Maybe she could try contouring to soften her jawline? And she definitely needed to work on her walk. She still moved too stiffly, too masculine. Savannah spent the next few hours online, losing herself in tutorials and forums. She ordered a few new items, a padded bra, some more feminine tops, a wig for when she was ready to try longer hair. As she browsed, she felt a growing sense of community. There were so many others out there like her, each on their own journey of self-discovery and expression. As the night wore on, Savannah found herself daydreaming about future outings. Maybe next time she'd try going to a movie theater or even a small local concert. The thought both thrilled and terrified her. Each new experience brought risks, but also the potential for incredible rewards. Before bed, Savannah carefully removed her makeup and changed back into Raul's pajamas. But as she drifted off to sleep, her dreams were filled with visions of a life lived authentically, a future where Savannah could exist freely in the world. The next few weeks passed in a blur of work and secret preparation. Raul threw himself into his job during the day, trying to make up for his recent distraction. But his evenings and weekends belonged to Savannah. He practiced her voice for hours, perfected her makeup technique, and even started learning to walk in heels, a challenging but oddly satisfying experience. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of anticipation, the weekend arrived. Raul had decided it was time for Savannah's next outing, a trip to the local mall. It was a bigger challenge than the Blockbuster visit, with more people and more potential for interaction. But Savannah felt ready, eager to test her improved skills in a real-world setting. Saturday morning dawned bright and clear. Raul took his time getting ready, carefully applying Savannah's makeup and selecting her outfit. He'd chosen a flowy peasant top in a soft lavender, paired with dark wash jeans and low-heeled sandals. The wig he'd ordered online gave Savannah shoulder-length brown hair, framing her face softly. As before, Savannah drove some distance from her home before parking. She sat in the car for several minutes, taking deep breaths to calm her nerves. "You've got this," she whispered to herself. "You are Savannah, and you belong here." With that, she stepped out of the car and made her way towards the mall entrance. The parking lot was busy, families and groups of friends chattering as they walked past. Savannah kept her head high, reminding herself to swing her hips slightly as she walked. Inside, the mall was a cacophony of sights, sounds, and smells. Music blared from storefronts, mixing with the buzz of conversation and the occasional cry of a child. Savannah paused just inside the entrance, momentarily overwhelmed. But then she squared her shoulders and strode forward, determined to make the most of this opportunity. Her first stop was a cosmetics store. Savannah had been struggling with finding the right foundation shade, and she hoped an expert could help. As she browsed the displays, a perky sales associate approached. "Hi there, can I help you find anything today?" Savannah's heart raced, but her voice came out steady. "Actually, yes, I'm having trouble matching my foundation. Could you help me find the right shade?" The associate, whose name tag read Ashley, beamed. "Of course! Come on over to our testing station, and we'll find your perfect match." For the next 20 minutes, Savannah found herself swept up in a whirlwind of color swatches and product recommendations. Ashley was friendly and professional, never once giving any indication that she saw Savannah as anything other than another female customer. By the time Savannah left the store, she had not only a new foundation, but also a sense of giddy accomplishment. Buoyed by this success, Savannah decided to push her boundaries further. She headed for a women's clothing store, determined to try on a dress for the first time in public. As she browsed the racks, her hands shook slightly, but her excitement outweighed her fear. "That would look lovely on you," a voice said, making Savannah jump. She turned to see an older woman smiling at her, gesturing to a floral sundress Savannah had been admiring. "The color would really bring out your eyes." Savannah felt a warmth spread through her chest. "Thank you," she replied, her voice soft but genuine. "I think I'll try it on." In the fitting room, Savannah's hands trembled as she slipped the dress over her head. But when she looked in the mirror, her breath caught. The dress skimmed her body in all the right places, the soft fabric and feminine print a stark contrast to the masculine clothes she wore as Raul. For a moment, Savannah barely recognized herself, but in the best possible way. Emerging from the fitting room, Savannah found the older woman waiting, a kind smile on her face. "Well, how does it look?" Savannah twirled, unable to contain her joy. "I love it," she said, her voice full of wonder. The woman nodded approvingly. "You should get it, dear. It's perfect for you." As Savannah changed back into her original outfit, she felt as though something fundamental had shifted. This wasn't just about clothes or makeup anymore. It was about being seen, truly seen, for who she was inside. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of small, wonderful moments. Savannah tried on jewelry, sampled perfumes, and even stopped for a quick manicure. Each interaction, each simple ma'am or miss from a store employee felt like a small victory. As the day wore on, Savannah found herself growing more confident, more at ease in her own skin. She struck up conversations with other shoppers, complimented a little girl on her sparkly shoes, and even flirted mildly with a cute barista at the coffee shop. By the time Savannah left the mall, the sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink. She felt exhausted but exhilarated, her arms laden with shopping bags and her heart full of hope. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.